SILCA recently launched a brand new out-front cycling computer mount, and this one doesn't resemble a giant.
Willie? Yeah. What's that?
They've called this mount the Chisela. Think Coachella, but with a chisel. Like a lot of SILCA products, this is definitely targeted at the premium end of the market, and as such, prepare yourself for the pricing. In this video today, I'll go through the unboxing. We will put this thing on the scales, I'll install it on my road bike, and I'll do a test mount of all of these cycling GPS units to see how they look and see how they fit on the Chisela. Before getting to the unboxing and hands-on, just a quick overview of the Chisela computer mount by looking at the specs here over on the SILCA website. They claim here that it is a cutting-edge aerodynamic lightweight mount, 3D printed in titanium, compatible with all Garmin and Wahoo computers. And they have the T-tray mounting system, makes for a removable mount for lights, cameras, and more. So that's the GoPro compatible mount that goes underneath. The Chisela isn't just a single computer mount, but a range of mounts. So there's the standard, the wide, and then we have manufacturer specifics for different integrated handlebars. What I have is the wide version here, which fits stems with bolt widths of between 23 and 40 mil. And yes, let's talk about the elephant in the room here. It is $125 US. Okay, before getting into the box, on the back is a gauge or a scale to size up what kind of Chisela you need, or what width Chisela you need for your type of stem. So for example, this giant stem here, we line it up and go center to center on the bolts, and this looks like both will fit on the 3T stem I have here. Bolts on this, and again that also looks like both will fit. It is 40 mil across, but if you want to have a look and zoom in and see what's going on here. So it's 40 millimeters across and 9 millimeters in the center there, but that's, hopefully I can zoom in on that and you can see what you might need if you're trying to size up standard or wide for one of these. Okay, we'll do a test install in a moment. Into the box, and there really isn't much to it. That's all there is. We have the mounts and the mounting kit. First of all, let's have a look at the mount. This particular one has come pre-installed with the Wahoo puck, also comes with the Garmin puck. That's the underside, optional extra. Now, weight of this, well, first of all, the texture of this is quite rough. It's super light, but it's not smooth. It's not sort of stem smooth, if you know what I mean. Okay, the all-important weighing of just this, 34 grams, okay, plus the mount. Actually, we'll do the mount without the bolt because we'll never be running that. We'll be running a quick thumb screw GoPro mount. So in for fairness, 39 plus mounting hardware, give or take for the bag, 46. That's probably the configuration that I'll be running. So 46 grams. Okay, cool. I am super keen to see how this looks and how it fits out the front. Now, the documentation on this is pretty thin, to be honest. How to put the underside clip on is there, but not how to put the bolts on with the washers or spacers. So I'm going to pull that up on screen here, and that's the configuration. While I do this, I'm going to put this on. I'll always be running an underside mount of some type for GoPros or lights. Okay, cool. That is it. And as per the diagram, it goes onto the front of the stem, bolt, washer, and the washers do have a direction to them because that is smoothed off or rounded off or tapered at that end there, which butts into that, and then that goes in to the bottom of the stem like so. I'll go out into the Llama garage in a moment and install this on my bike. But the reason for the spacers is that this here will never properly or smoothly butt up against the face there at all. There'll always be, I guess, a little bit of wiggle room or movement or interference. So the spacers just pull that out a little bit. And I'm guessing the reason for those, that direction, or just allows for a little bit of give or move for the bolts to interface correctly. That's it here on the bench. That's how it mounts. Let's go to the Llama garage and get it installed. Sizing the Chisela up with the current giant stem, and it looks like we have a match. Probably could have gone either way with this one, with either the standard or the wide. However, SILCA did send over the wide, so we'll be using that. Now, before my bars spin down, just a little mark on either side so I know exactly where the bars need to rotate back to. And we'll be removing these bolts, which are to be replaced with the ones that come in the kit. Installing the bolts and the spacers in the correct order as per the diagram on screen before. We'll get these bolts installed with this standard tool before switching to the torque wrench in a few moments. Bit of a fiddle getting things installed there with all those cables dangling in the air with the giant TCR, which doesn't have internal cable routing just yet. And the GoPro mount is getting in the way, so I'm just temporarily having to remove that for the installation of the Chisela. Alrighty, everything's snugged down as per spec, and it looks pretty neat. The standard width might have been a little better for this bike, but the wide fits on just fine, and putting the Bolt 2 on fits nice and snug and looks pretty good. Now that's the Bolt 2. Let's go through an entire range of different mounts on the front, starting off with the Roam. The Bolt version, Bolt version 1 doesn't fit. That aero fairing gets in the way. Bolt version 2 goes on just fine. Element. Now that's the Wahoo puck out of the way. Let's switch over to the Garmin insert, or Garmin puck, which everything else is compatible with. Alrighty, onto the Hippo, the Karoo 1, monster unit this one. Karoo 2, which is a little worse for wear after taking a dive off my handlebars a few weeks back. Stages Dash M200, Stages Dash L200, onto the Garmin Edge 130, the baby. Next up, Edge 830, which is the same as the 530. Edge 1030 Plus, same as the Edge 1030. That fits, that's a good sign. And onto a few others as well. The Sigma Rocks 11.1 Evo, Brighton Rider 750, Cyplus M1, and XOSS G Plus. Just one observation you may have seen throughout all of that is that the Garmin Edge units snapped in dead straight. The other units sometimes were a little wonky and needed some manual adjustment to be pointing straight forward. Okay, onto my pros and cons before wrapping this one up for today. The pros, starting off with the weight. It's super, super light. Good for the weight weenies. I'm listing compatibility as a pro because I was able to mount all cycling GPS units except the Bolt 1, which I wouldn't consider a current cycling GPS units. These have been superseded with the Bolt 2, which fits just fine. And the underside GoPro mount and it being removable is also a good thing. So it'll take care of your GoPros, other compatible cameras and bike lights. On to the cons, and well, I have to start off with the price. This is a premium level price tag. Another thing is there's no tilt with this either. Not a problem for me because I mount my bike computers at the same angle as my stem, and as you can see here, it's level with the stem if you draw a straight line across. So that was okay for me, but if you do mount your head units up or down, it's going to be a problem with this. You're not going to be able to move it. Also, handlebar bag compatibility might be a problem for people who use the underside mount. Something like the K-Edge XL mount has the mount straight under the head unit, allowing for a lot more room where the bag goes. The Chisela, the mount's back a little further, so it will get in the way of a out front bag mount. So maybe not for a gravel option, depending on the type of bag that you use. Okay, so in wrap up here, a super light, super expensive, and I think a super cool looking out front mount from SILCA that doesn't look like a giant.
Pecker!
Oh, yeah.
And with that, thanks for watching this one. As always, give it a thumbs up if you've enjoyed this video. Hit subscribe to support this channel. There's a super thanks down there as well, which will help the channel out too. And we shall see you next time.